Be physician comp. I know I'm probably a total outlier, but my docs just they want to know that. I'm sure none of you have that issue. Yeah, so I feel kind of alone in that, but that is a big issue. What we try to do, and we're not always successful, but to make sure that the comp is as close to the like the work RVU output, even though we do not base our compensation off work RVU, but it's just an indication of, hey, I'm in the 75th percentile in output. So we're hoping that you're in the 75th percentile in compensation. Doesn't always happen, but that would be the first one.
Nice. What about you, Terry? What's the first report you turned to?
It's compensation, but I have 6.5 positions, so the half he's not a partner, he's just employed. So, but I have 6 positions, and all 6 of them have a metric that they care more about than the other. I have one that he doesn't care what his dollar amount is. The first thing he wants to know is what's my overhead percentage. That's what he bases everything on. What's my overhead percentage? I could tell him he made $500,000 and his overhead was 60%, and he'd think it was awful. Or I could tell him you made $300,000 and your overhead was 40%, and he'd be happy as could be. So I have to tailor what I look at, based on what my doctors want to see. There's a lot of information out there. We don't do anything on RVUs at all either. My managing partner likes to say I can't spend an RVU, so don't bother tracking it. I mean, our software tracks it. We don't look at it, so I don't even look at that part of it. But I have to go in and I look at the reports that I know my doctors are going to want to know, because when they come to you, you want to have that data at your fingertips where you can give it to them. So those are the first things I look at. Revenue, of course, overhead, expenses, and another big one in my group is call pay, because that's a big battle we're fighting with the hospital right now is, what's the average call pay? Are we being compensated fairly? So those are the main reports I look at first.
Thank you. Olivia, same question. What's your key report?
Sure.
And then I know you have some call pay with some of the upper extremity panels that you work with. Is that something important to you?
Well, so we don't get call pay.
Well,
so the data is why it's important is because the hospitals in Alaska don't pay for call. And so my founding member never really worried about it. The 2 docs that we've recruited since then do care about it. So being able to give them that information to take back to the hospitals and try to fight for what those norms are is really good to have that information. As far as outside of call stuff, similar to Chris and Terry, expenses are what I look at, less physician comp. My guys care about the percentage of overhead. And particularly because we've grown, staff expenses in particular is where their focus and my focus has been, because, we starting out with just my founding member and his PA, when we started to add more providers, looking at, okay, for a group our size, how many staff do you need in the billing department or at the front desk, and making sure that, as staff expenses then rise, if you look at just that bar graph, it can be, not deceiving is not the right word. They don't like to see that go up. And so that's where you have to look at the percentage then. Okay, we've brought providers in, so our productivity's up, so our revenue's also up. If the percentages are not really changing, then it doesn't matter that those bar graphs are going up.
So when you look at staff